Hey students, so right now you are working on your Satire or Evasion tracker, where you are tracking different instances of satire that occur in the adventures of Huckleberry Finn, and then you are determining whether the satire is effective or ineffective. If the satire is effective, that means that Mark Twain effectively uses satire in order to criticize and ridicule slavery, as well as the failures of the Reconstruction period to end the injustices of racism. However, if you think that the satire fails and is evasive, then what you would be arguing is that Twain's satire is so confusing and so hidden that he instead unintentionally supports the racist ideas of individuals living in the United States, particularly in the South, where slavery had recently been abolished. And so I'm going to help you through this tracker because it is a difficult task, but you'll find that with each passing practice, it will become easier and easier. So with these earlier practices, I'm going to do all of them with you. And then when we get towards the end, I'll do one example and you'll be responsible for the rest. But let's go ahead and work on analysis number 1. Let me open up my presentation. And so while you watch this video, you'll want to have your tracker open so that you can fill in your table while you watch the video. It will save you time. All right. Oh, and just to let you know, you probably should have already done your reading. So you should have read the chapters for this, and now we're going to analyze them. Otherwise, we'll be giving away things in the book that you don't fully understand because you haven't read the plot behind them. Okay, cool. So for the very first analysis, we are going to analyze the notice. So this is at the very beginning of the book before the chapters even start. And so the notice reads, persons attempting to find a motive in this narrative will be prosecuted. Persons attempting to find a moral in it will be banished. Persons attempting to find a plot in it will be shot. So why on earth would Mark Twain open up his novel with this warning? So there's a couple questions that we need to answer. The first is, when was the book published? So the book was published in 1884, which is during the Reconstruction period, after the abolition of slavery. So the Civil War has occurred, slavery has been abolished, it's no longer legal, and African American and Black Americans are now free. However, the book takes place far before 1884. It takes place in the 1830s, when slavery is still an institution used in the South. So why would Mark Twain do this? Write a book about slavery after slavery is ended. So the next question asks, while writing after the Reconstruction but before the Jim Crow era, why did Mark Twain choose to write during the time period of slavery? And so I'm going to come back to this question because I think the following questions will help us find the answer. So question number 4 asks, what does the notice literally mean? So in this notice, Mark Twain is saying that if you try to find his motive in writing this novel, he's going to prosecute you with the law. He says if you try to find a moral in his novel, he's going to banish you. And if he says you try to find a plot in his novel, he's going to shoot you. So he's threatening you, saying, don't try to find any meaning in my book. There's no meaning. Don't look for it. Don't do it. Okay, well, that's a really weird way to start a book. If he didn't want us to find any meaning in his book, why would he have written it in the first place? Someone's not going to write nonsense. Well, actually, someone might, but Mark Twain didn't. And so what is the satirical meaning of this notice? So here he is using what we call verbal irony, where he's saying one thing, but he actually means the opposite. He wants people to find a motive. He wants people to find a moral. He wants people to pay attention to the plot. But why doesn't he just say that? Why does he say the opposite? The reason why is because the kind of reader that he's looking for is a reader who rebels. The person where you say, don't push that button, and they push the button. He wants someone who likes to do what they're told not to do. And he thinks that rebellious spirit is really important right now. So remember, the book is being published in the Reconstruction period. And so during the Reconstruction period, Mark Twain was very frustrated because he felt like this entire war had been fought, that slavery had finally been abolished, and yet in the Reconstruction period, specifically in the South, things were falling so short. The freedoms that were promised to newly freed African Americans and Black Americans wasn't being fulfilled. Their freedoms were being restricted. They were being treated cruelly. Their lives were in danger, and people were dying. And Mark Twain felt as though that this was unacceptable, and that this was barbaric, and that it was not what the Reconstruction had promised people. And therefore, he wanted people who were rebellious to rebel against these problems, rebel against the norms of the South, and demand that real change occur. And so that answers question number 3. The reason why Mark Twain writes about slavery, despite it being the time of the Reconstruction period, is because he felt like things hadn't really changed. Even though slavery had been abolished, he saw the Reconstruction as just another form of slavery with a different name over it. And so that's why he has this notice here. So if I went to go fill in my table, I would put the chapter as the notice. I would fill in the satirical device. He's using verbal irony. And I would fill in my analysis, which essentially says what I just explained. So if you would like to pause the video and go ahead and read it, you can, but it's what I just explained through those questions. And so what you need to do is in your tracker, you need to go ahead and fill in this information. I shouldn't see this word for word in your tracker. You need to explain it in your own words. And so what you need to do is read this or just listen to what I've said and understand it, and then write it in your own words and also with your own opinion. You might see this scene in a different way than I do, and that's a good thing. You should have your own opinion. I want you to have your own opinion. Disagree with me. And write about this in your own words and from your own point of view. Here, you also need to fill in whether it's satire or evasion, and I can't and won't fill that in for you because that is your opinion. Does this notice achieve effective satire, or is it so evasive that it's actually problematic? That's what you need to decide. So next, let's move on to this scene. So that I don't run out of video time, what I'd like for you guys to do is to pause the video and to read this. You really need to do that, otherwise you won't understand what's happening in the scene enough to fill in your tracker. So pause your video and read this. Go for it. All right, hopefully you have read this scene. So now let's talk about what you would put in your tracker. So in this scene, what we see being used in chapter 1 is situational irony. And specifically, we see it in how Huck misspells the word civilize. So this reads, in this scene, Huck misspells the word civilize. This is ironic because we would expect someone who is civilized to be able to spell the word. Therefore, the fact that he can't suggests that he isn't civilized and that Widow Douglas isn't helping to civilize him. Instead, lessons taught by Widow Douglas reinforce uncivilized acts such as owning slaves. Therefore, Twain is pointing out that anyone who owns slaves are implicit, severe typo there, or are implicit in the ownership of slaves is not civilized but rather barbaric. And so we see that in here. He misspells civilized right here. He spells it with an S. That's not a typo. And it's ironic. We would expect someone who is civilized to be able to spell civilized. Therefore, Huck is not civilized. And he's not civilized because he's being taught by people like the Widow Douglas, who is not civilized either. She's a slave owner, which is a barbaric practice. And therefore, someone who practices cruelty can't teach someone how to be civilized. So Huck doesn't stand a chance. We also see this reiterated here through Tom Sawyer, who says, you need to go back and be respectable so that we can become a band of robbers. There's something ironic here. robbing, stealing, plundering, hurting people is also barbaric. And therefore, this shows the fact that people like Tom Sawyer and the widow Douglas see cruel actions as being civilized, which they're not. That's the irony. And therefore, Twain is indicating that the South perceives themselves as being civilized, when in fact the South could not possibly be civilized because they have the institution of slavery, and in the Reconstruction period because there's such rampant racism that's being allowed. All right, so now let's go to our very last example. So again, go ahead, pause, and read this scene. All right, so hopefully you've gone and read this scene. Let's take a look at our satire tracker, or our satire or evasion tracker. So we have chapter 3, and in this scene there's 4 devices that are used: mockery, hyperbole, dramatic irony, and repetition. In this scene, Jim is mocked when both Huck and Tom play a trick on him. Jim's increasingly hyperbolic stories about witches flying him around the town makes him look foolish, because we, the audience, know that isn't what happened. That's dramatic irony. Additionally, the offensive N-word is repeated many times in this scene, further making a fool of Jim. This whole scene is very offensive. Twain likely meant for it to be this way. He's playing into his racist readers' point of view, mimicking the way they think. That way, later on, he might be able to change their minds. Additionally, the scene would offend his non-racist readers who sympathize with Jim, making them angry enough to demand change. And so essentially what this is saying is that the offensive language, the mockery of Jim, Twain is doing that in order to make his non-racist readers mad, so that they say, that's not okay. And again, to spark that rebellion in them to want change. And also so that he could lull his racist readers into kind of a sense of security, so that later on in the book, when he turns on them, they would maybe change their mind, or at least not see it coming. Now, for this one in particular, this scene could very easily be seen as evasive. It's very problematic. And therefore, when you're making your decisions on whether this is satire or evasive, some of these you might say are effectively satire. Some of these you're going to say that's evasive. And you can definitely go back and forth. You might say all of these are effective satire, all of these are evasive, or you might vary it. There is no wrong answer there. It's based upon how you think Mark Twain did in these scenes, and therefore it's all within your opinion. So that's taken you through the 3 scenes. Go ahead and get this information in your tracker, in your own words, to the best of your ability, so that you can later on use this in either your essay or video, depending on which final product you're making. All right, if you have any questions about this or any concerns, please feel free to email me, G-chat me, or see me during office hours. All right, thanks so much, and I'll see you for the next round for our tracker. Bye.